Okay, I have a feeling we're live. So
Well, it says we're live on
it
Facebook,
does say
so
it does say that, yeah.
it
Hi.
does say, hi.
And
We're
hey,
totally winging it.
yes. This Zoom webinar streaming thing on Facebook is always a little bit like you think we're doing it, it says we're doing it, and you're still not sure, and I don't know why that is. We could just believe them. Wesley. Everybody, I'm sorry. I am so bad today at interviewing. My brain is completely gone. But this is my friend, Wesley Pullen, and he is another certified facilitator of access consciousness living in South Africa. He is also one of the worldwide coordinators of my business, and he's got his own business. And today we wanted to talk about being effing phenomenal, which I only edited because if I put fucking, Facebook won't actually show this to people, which I think is crazy. So be effing phenomenal is what we call this. Um, so Wes and I are actually going to be doing a series together that he started. And then I was like, I want to facilitate that with you. And he said, okay. And it's called Phenomenal. And so what, I mean, Wes, so tell me a little bit about like, God, where do I even start? You were born and then what happened?
I w- that is literally the worst question on the planet. I'm firing you as the interviewer.
I don't think I should be in charge of this.
Okay, so I was born and I grew up in Johannesburg, South Africa. Always been here my whole life. Yeah.
I couldn't help myself. What do I even talk about? Both you and I have talked a lot about this book, like this series that we are about to do together is based on a book called Blessed Possibilities by Gary Douglas. And it's a transcript of a portion of a 7-day class where the conversation of phenomenons occurred. And phenomenons is not actually an English word. It is now. It's an English word now. It wasn't before. And yet the conversations that went in and around this topic of being a phenomenon were just really life-changing. And I've done series on this before, but this is the first series I've seen you put up. Can you talk to me a little bit about what was this for you? Like what made you want to create this or explore this even more? Like, can you say more about that?
Well, I'll say that I've read the book,
Mm.
Blessed Possibilities by Gary Douglas, like a million times. It's one of my favorite access books, actually, because it covers pretty much every topic of life that you need to know about.
Yeah.
But it wasn't reading the book that got me to create the series. It was the recognition that we have the choice to be phenomenal in our lives every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was that.
What is like, I'm so aware that, gosh, there's just so many conversations happening out there right now. And I mean, for me, it's like really, for me, there's a whole thing going on of like really claiming how different I am, like the greatness of me, what that even is. And the vulnerability that's actually required to be that. What do we want to talk about? I want to like talk about 18 things at the same time.
Yeah. So for those of you who have just joined, Christel and I actually work with Christel in her business. So we talk about life-changing things
All
pretty
the
much
time.
every time.
All
So
the
when
time.
we get together and talk about life-changing things, this is literally how it goes. So you're witnessing the process of how we discover ourselves, discover phenomenons, create more, generate more. This is how we are. We talk shit, we laugh, we stumble, we get up and we carry on and we be phenomenal.
Yeah. To me, like what's showing up for me around phenomenal is that the gift, one of the gifts, oh God, there's so much. There's so like how I where
So
to even
much.
start. Mm, 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 mm. Basically, phenomenons is being willing to be that which goes beyond what everybody else has decided is great. And it's great is like the status quo even, and great is actually a judgment. This is the crazy thing about like greatness and being. I hear so many people saying I have to step up and I've got to be more and to be success. Like there's all these judgments about what this is. And what for me is happening is this more like a receiving. It's a receiving of what I actually am. which is showing up in these choices that not very many people have available. And so for me, there's this intense like commitment to cultivating, receiving me, the beings around me, what consciousness actually desires. And what I'm hearing is that that's not normal.
Apparently not.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm curious about for everybody watching is like, for me, it's like, what are the choices that you actually have available that nobody around you has? You know, you and I talk about this a lot, actually. Like, and I feel like I'm constantly pointing out to you about how awesome you are, that you don't know that you are.
And I get that, like, that is what phenomenons is like, well, one of the aspects of being phenomenal and phenomenons is the recognition that you can choose things that not anybody else can.
Yeah.
You have choices available that other people don't have. And it's often the things that we think are so normal to us. It's the things that we do that are just so normal and we think are normal about us that are so different.
Yeah.
Phenomenons is that when you're being you without the judgment of you having to be anything more than that.
Do you use, what are the tools that you use to remind yourself of how great you are?
Well, I know if I'm having a stuck moment, I know I have to acknowledge something about myself in that moment. So
wait, slow down, go back. Wait, what?
Go back. Go back?
Go back!
Go back where?
What do you mean? You said that so fast, nobody heard you.
One of the things I ask myself is, what would I have to acknowledge about myself here to change this?
You guys. Here's the thing, like I just finished facilitating a foundation class, and if a foundation is a 4-day access consciousness class, you guys, if you don't know, and it comes after bars. Bars is a 1-day class, then you've got foundation, and I facilitate that class. And every single time I do that, I'm like blown away by how advanced that class is. And it had something to do with what you were talking about. What would I have to acknowledge about myself? Yeah, the thing that I find over and over and over is that what covers up what's actually phenomenal about us is everything we've decided is wrong with us. But it's never actually that it's true that it's wrong about us, ever. I've never had a facilitation session where we go through all the things and we uncover the things, and the unicorn at the bottom of the poo pile is actually the wrongness of you. It's never that. It is always the greatness of you. And what's happening for me is the more I'm receiving what's actually phenomenons about me, the more everything gets easier. Like I'm getting happier. Everything's just sort of doing this like deep thrum of awesomeness that is like peace and ease and creation. Like my hearing is changing, but it's not my hearing. It's like I'm able to perceive things different. And but that all seemed like kind of a far off thing right in the beginning. It was like not really relevant because I was just trying to be happy. So I'm like, peace and okay,
I was just trying to be happy, and my whole life fucking changed.
Oops. Yeah.
Oops.
God. Yeah. Yeah. So what? I mean, Wes, what do you wanting? Oh, I can't. If
you said something just now, and it was like receive more, be more, and like the choice available to be, receive, perceive, and know is so far beyond this reality, it does not compute here. That is phenomenons.
Okay, but you talk about like beyond this reality, and we flip that around as a phrase as if it's like, normal. That's the word the, right? So what this reality, the reality, like how do you play with this reality and the reality in your world? Like, what do you mean? Tell me more. I know I'm putting
good question. No, yeah. That's a great question, actually. It's like, I know, how do I put this into words?
If you can't, I just got an idea.
Yeah.
Okay. I was looking at today specifically the creation of business from beyond this reality and from this reality. And I interact with a lot of entrepreneurs. So this is like a thing I look at a lot. And for me, what's been going on is I've been really committing to creating business from question and choice and possibility and contribution, which if you play with access, you sort of hear that stuff a lot. And it's easy for the stuff you hear a lot to become kind of rote, Like, yeah, question, choice, possibility, contribution. No. When you actually really are it and you really do function from that, it's not even like a different version of ketchup. It's just like you had ketchup over here and now you've got a planet. A comparison of how you function with one or the other. And so like that's like when I look at phenomenons, I'm like, phenomenons is actually recognizing what truly creates. Because it's almost like with most things, you kind of like put one foot in, well, I'm just going to make some decisions and some conclusions, and then I ask some questions to try to get me out of what's stuck. And then I'm going to like, it's like we sort of plant ourselves halfway into the things that don't really actually work and try to use the tools to sort of make this work instead of just going, yeah, fuck it, I'm jumping ships. And like, I don't know what business created as a question means. I don't even know what it means to totally make choices. I don't even really get contribution or possibility, but like, what would it take to create as that? And so I'd like, how do you like,
So it was great. You were talking, and I kind of got some to add to that. It's like
yeah,
going beyond the limited menu of choices we've been told that we have available, things that we've been told we can and can't do. That is going beyond this reality. It's like, I know when I go through ideas in my head and I go, oh, I can't do that and I can do this and I can't do that and I can do this. It's when I've put 2 feet back in this reality. Is when I go to the can and the can'ts. But going beyond this reality is jumping in, not knowing what the outcome is going to be.
like nothing.
Because it is something that doesn't yet exist here.
Yeah, that being willing to be a pioneer.
Mm.
Yeah, like what, man, I just want to ask, like, what phenomenons of choice do we actually have available to us that we haven't even wondered about yet, like asked about yet? Man, I look all the time. Thank you for that, because the pioneer thing has really been like kind of weaving itself through my world and different things I've been looking at. And I grew up in the United States, so we're like a country of pioneers, and kind of still are in a way. We're kind of stupid too, but when you look at the attitude of an American, it's like, yeah, fuck it, throw a gun on your hip and head out, and it'll work out. It's kind of how we are. You're like, yeah, chuck it in the fuck it bucket and move on. And so So it's cool that I've been traveling the world a lot. So I've been like, I've been getting to interact with a lot of different cultures and a lot of different countries, and that doesn't exist everywhere. That's not a sense of anything. And so like, it's kind of like, what pioneer ability have you left behind that you could wonder about and claim again? Because I'm getting that in that pioneer spirit, or as a pioneer in something, you don't have any idea. That's the whole point. You're a pioneer. You are pioneering something, but I don't think we see ourselves as that. I don't actually get that we see ourselves as a pioneer of consciousness, whatever that means even, or a pioneer of how to create something in a totally different way. Like, how do you actualize a business from question and choice and possibility and contribution? Is anybody even interested in exploring that? How do you actualize a life from question and choice and possibility? Like that, who talks about that? Only us weirdos in access consciousness,
And this whole conversation is literally about, what are you already?
Yeah.
Instead of not looking at what you're not. I mean, we talk about this receiving, perceiving, knowing thing. And we all think it's some sort of level that we have to reach. It's something outside of us that we have to learn. No, but what receiving are you? What perceiving are you? What knowing are you? What being are you? That if you would acknowledge that, would allow you to change your world and the world.
What is it about this journey of consciousness that keeps you hooked?
The recognition that there is no end point. There is no level of like completion. Because I know that you, myself, and hundreds and if not thousands of other access facilitators are planting seeds everywhere as we go about our daily lives, not even knowing that we're doing it. We're creating a future here that we're not even half or like willing to know that we are.
Mm. And that's my question to everybody watching is like, what future are you generating and creating with the choices you're making? And what future would you like to be generating and creating that you haven't yet chosen? And what would you have to claim about you in order to have that as a reality? Like,
Yeah.
who and what are you that you have not yet claimed?
And like,
Yeah.
what are you looking at as outside of you that if you would look inside of you
Mm.
would allow you to actually be it?
Mm-hmm.
That, all of this.
Oh man, guys. So I mean, Jesus. I mean, we don't have, I don't even think we have a link to register on this video. But if you guys like this conversation, I mean, this is a crazy long series. What are we doing? This is insane.
20 call long series
For
where
like $2 for something?
it's for $200, but there is country pricing.
US dollars?
US dollars.
Is that in rupees? South African what?
Rands.
Rands. Ah, okay. Yeah.
And we will be using this book, Blessed Possibilities, but we're not just going to be reading from it. It's just going to be one of our tools that we're going to use to facilitate all of us.
Yeah, and I just want to, I guess we'll wrap it up. I don't know what. The next thing I wanted to say about it is like, there's so many times when I have looked at a book like Blessed Possibilities or Salon de Femme is another book that I would look at and go, well, it's not about money and it's not about business. Never mind. That's me. But like when I, when I picked up Blessed Possibilities, I was like, this is like the Bible. Everywhere you open it is like, oh my God. I just would like fall into the page and be like, here, open the book and read me something. Just do it. Let's just be wild. Wes.
Yeah, let's open the book and
Do
read
it.
somewhere.
Just open it.
Okay.
I'm going to sip on this Sangiovese from Italy.
Okay, well, one of the things is it's like phenomenons is the ability to go beyond the ordinary and the extraordinary, which is the extra of the ordinary.
The extra of the ordinary.
Yeah.
It's too little. It's too little.
Too little.
Never mind.
Into something which does not compute in this reality.
How much have you made yourself try to compute in this reality? How much have you tried to get other people to understand you? Wes, I went to, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but I went to Bible school when I was 25. I got a degree in theology. And I went because my mom and I couldn't get along. And she was convinced it was because I had had sexual abuse and I hadn't dealt with my trauma. And people only accuse you of what they're doing, but that's a whole other video. So anyway, I literally went to Bible school in order to get the skills so that I could relate to her, so that I could actually compute. And so I spent like 10 years of my life trying to get the tools in order to be able to compute. And it took me another 10 years of struggling with that to finally find access. And when I found access, they're like, you don't compute. And I'm like, ow. Like, and then all of a sudden everything made sense because I'm like, I don't. The way I live doesn't compute. The way I choose doesn't compute. The way I am doesn't compute. It doesn't compute. In this reality, in a reality that functions from judgment, the way I choose to be is a total nonsense machine. But it's also like, it's this space where other people that are kind of like me-ish can be. And that's the world I want to live in. And so that thing of like, oh, I love that. I love that. What, can you read it again? Can you do it again?
It is, I remember it. It's phenomenons is the ability to go beyond the ordinary and the extra of the ordinary and into something which does not compute in this reality.
You don't compute in this reality. Yeah, you definitely don't compute in this reality. You're weird as fuck.
You don't. You're weird as fuck.
You're weird as fuck. Hey, that's another t-shirt. Weird as fuck. Did we put that in already?
Someone on here.
Fake.
Hashtag weird as fuck.
Weird as fuck. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Okay, open it again. Do it again. I want to hear something else.
Let's do something else.
I'm going to write that in my idea thing. Weird as
Oh,
fuck.
oh my fuck. This is it, like just opened the book, page 151. It's what if you never had to be what other people wanted you to be? What if you only got to be what you wanted to be? It's called creating your own reality. This funny little thing called your reality.
Do it again.
Let's do it. There's so many clearings in this book.
It's such a good book. It's so good.
Oh, here's one. Like, what would I like to create as my life today? That's fucking phenomenal because you will discover the choices you have available that nobody else has.
So are you saying that you have new choices every day?
Of course.
Do you ever find yourself boxing yourself into choices? Like, do you ever feel boxed into choices? Just like, I can't.
What do you mean by boxed in?
Exactly. See, no, you don't do it either. Like I made this choice and now I'm stuck with this choice and now I can't make another choice.
Oh, no. No.
Not anymore. And when I first
Not
met you,
anymore.
you were boxing yourself in a little bit with relationships. I've never done that. We are just the same person in two different bodies.
Oh, yeah.
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 But
Christel's the man, I'm the woman.
That's true. That's so true. I wear the makeup better though. What was I gonna say? Ugh, God, we're having too much fun. I don't know what I was gonna say. Oh, the thing. Well, I mean, I guess the thing for me with choice is that I play with in a way that I've really never seen anybody play with except for you. Really, is like what if wasn't making this choice? What other choice could I make? Like if I didn't have to be bound by this choice, if this was just a choice, if I could make another choice, like what would I choose? That's a phenomenon of choice most people don't have available to them that we think is normal because we're weird as fuck. So that's my question for all of you guys is like, what phenomenons of choice do you have available that you may not yet have exercised that if you would exercise it would give you a lot more information and a lot more freedom? We talked a lot in my foundation class this last weekend about fear and potency. How fear actually always 100% of the time covers up potency. And so when you are with around choice, when you're going to fear all the time, the thing that you're avoiding is being as potent as you actually are. So like what potency of choosing, what potency of choice do you actually have available that you just haven't chosen yet, that you haven't even looked at, you haven't even asked about, you haven't even played with because you've decided you're afraid.
Yeah, and like, what if, like, you always speak to me about curiosity, and it's been so big in my world, and it changed my world forever. Because at some points in my life, I go into the I have to do stuff.
Yeah.
Oh no, I have to do this tool, or I have to change this thing. Where it's like, what if you took everything in your life, not just the good shit, but everything with a level of curiosity? What if every limitation that came up in your life, you truly went at with, like, I wonder how I could change this. Like, I wonder what question I could ask. I wonder what I could do different here. I wonder what I could choose different here. I wonder what, that's literally what grand and glorious adventure I'm going to have today.
Yeah. But when you ask that, you're coming from a few points of view that aren't that normal. And that's just what I'm curious about for the people that are watching. Like you're coming from the point of view that anything can change and that if you wonder about it, it will change. And so how could you wonder about it that would change it? Which is cool. That's a phenomenon. That's a phenomenon. This is the thing I love about phenomenons is that when I start to dive into the topic, what seems, it's, you said at the beginning, what seems so normal to you, the abilities that seem so normal to you, the questions you just whip off because you just are asking questions that other people are like, wait, could you go back to the first question? You've already asked 8, right? Like that's we're all being these phenomenons that we aren't looking at, and they're so different for all of us. Like I've spent a couple of weeks now with my friend Virginie. And we're so different. Like we function totally different, but we've been having some of those conversations. She's like, yeah, when I'm driving, it's kind of more like this. And I'm like, oh, when I'm driving, it's more like this. And looking at the differences and the gifts in the differences that when you're making yourself wrong for when you're making yourself wrong for all that, you can't even look at. You can't look at the gift of the difference that you are when you're making yourself wrong all the time. But there is a gift. I was just at Castle Borgone, which is the castle that Gary created with 8 other really cool people, and so he furnished it. And there's so many gifts to this castle, but one of them is that there are sets of lamps, but really not one thing in the place is the same as the other thing. All of the dishes in this room, that's all 400-year-old crystal and, incredible bone china and all this sterling silver cutlery, but not one of them is the same. And one of the things Shannon said, who's his, stepdaughter, she pointed that out. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting. She's like, yeah, because Gary's always looking for the gift in the difference things are, not in the gift that the same is.
And that's gratitude.
Yeah.
Gratitude is an element of creation. And it's the recognition that everything in your life, everything is a gift. So what if you asked yourself today, everyone watching, like, what gift is this, whatever this is for you, that I'm not acknowledging? What if every limitation or every single thing that showed up in your life was a gift for you to choose something to become greater? What if everything that shows up in your life is a gift? Even if it seems like a pile of fucking crap.
Including you.
What gift are you that you're not acknowledging?
Even if you seem like a pile of crap, you're not. But I really had to start wondering about what gift I was, like, before that could even become a reality, because I couldn't even fathom that I was a gift. Even when I was out there doing stuff, facilitating, people were like, what do you mean you don't see yourself as a gift? Do you know how much you've changed my life? And I'm like, what?
And you wondered, because there must have been a point where you were like, fuck it, I'm going to go for this with a level of curiosity.
Well, I did
have what it is.
There was a big demand. Yeah, there was a big demand. I went through a whole thing and change and choice, and it was very intense. And I finally was like, fuck it, I'm going to find out what I am. I'm going to find out. I'm going to find universe, show me the gift of me. Like, there was a big demand. Yeah, it's taken like two years, really. It really has taken a while. And I'm like finally starting, like I feel like I'm finally starting to get it, Yeah.
I think I have a question for everyone watching this now and in the future. And it's like, would you be willing to take up the challenge of who you truly are? And I say challenge like it's a hard thing, but it can be hard sometimes.
There's really only one thing that should be hard.
Sometimes. But it's only hard if you make it hard.
And then it's fun.
Yeah.
I'm terrible. Yeah, the taking of the challenge of who you truly are. I love that. That's from the How to Become Money workbook for those of you guys watching. And that workbook is such a gift. It's a Gary Douglas book. But that taking up the challenge of who you it truly is that. It actually is that. And every day now, I really do. I almost now every morning wake up and go, okay, I'm the leader. Where are we going? And it's taken courage, and it takes vulnerability, and it takes the willingness to be wrong. And it's one of the most exhilarating journeys I've ever been on. So, like, what phenomenons are you? What are you? What gift are you that you knew when you chose to come here that you can now uncover, unlock, and have again? And I'd love to be a part of that. And if I never get to, I want you to be a part of it. I want you to be a part of your own adventure. Are you letting yourself be a part of your own adventure? Or are you keeping yourself on the outside and like, what the fuck would it take for you to have you?
Mic drop.
Okay, we'll put a link for you guys to come play with us when we boost this video. If you want to come.
Yeah.
And Wes, I love your guts.
Oh, I love your guts. So grateful.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the next however many weeks this is with you.
25,000. I'm in. All right, you guys.
Bye-bye.